Yesterday, we saw a massive Verizon outage across the US as data, texting, and calls fail, and no word about when the issue will be resolved. And you might be thinking, yeah, so what, Tim? So a bunch of Verizon stopped working. I mean, this could be something simple like there was a bottleneck, some single point of failure that caused a cascade effect, and now everybody's, yeah, okay. You know what? Maybe it's not news at all that cell phones were down, and then wait a minute, what's this? Have you tried turning it off and on again? Today, 3 mobile network should be sorted by the end of the day as company suggests customers reset their phones. Thousands of people have reported issues using the network overnight. Down Detector website and major cities are the source of most of the reports. 3 has tweeted admitting it's working to solve technical difficulties. Okay. Here's where it's confusing. 3 is the name of a company. That's why that's why it's singular. Because that caught me for a second. I was like, wait, 3 mobile network? 3 mobile network. It is the name of the company. So now let's get back to where the point is. Normally, I wouldn't care about something like this. And I can't tell you what happened. But take a look at these images. Very strange that around the same time, so this was reported overnight, and this was reported yesterday. Do you know what the difference between overnight and yesterday is when you're talking about the UK? It's a 5-hour difference, meaning something happened very, very close in time frame that took out US Verizon's cell infrastructure as well as 3 in the UK. Does this mean we're under cyber attack? No. But I will say it's rather interesting. So I wonder, let's start with a simple solution. Maybe there's a shared line. No, that's not true. I don't think that's true. But maybe there's some kind of shared infrastructure. Maybe. Okay, let's start with that. Maybe 3 and Verizon share some kind of infrastructure or some third-party service that when it went down, it negatively impacted both of these networks in both of these countries. Let's have more fun, though. What's the most fun thing we can think of? Cyberattack. That's right, the United States is facing a massive cyber attack, likely from China. I have no reason to back that up. I just think it's fun to entertain. So no, let's be real. I don't know why any of these networks went down. But I will say, whenever we see something like this, people start getting suspicious and wondering if it was some kind of cyber attack. Let me tell you something. You may be asking, why would they attack our phones and it's only one phone network? You know, often we see Down Detector show us that there's internet outages. And many people, I always get asked this, well, who cares? How does slowing our internet hurt us in any way? It doesn't. We still have our soldiers, our borders, everything's fine. No. You're wrong. You are wrong. This is very, very bad for us. You know why? Our economies are based almost entirely these days. You know, they're becoming digital. Everything is digital. When your phone don't work, that deal can't go through, that money can't change hands, those taxes can't go up. Slowing up communications infrastructure can hinder our economy even by a little bit. Now think about this. China is growing very, very quickly. The US is growing as well, but China is quickly becoming the dominant, dominant market on the planet. They're going to be a superpower. They are a superpower, right? If they can slow our economic growth by even a fraction of a percent, it's like, imagine you're having a race with someone and you throw something in front of their path. You might be thinking, oh, I can easily jump over it. Yes. But every time you jump over that trash, it takes a little bit more energy than your opponent who's just, jogging, easily and then chucking things in your path. It takes you more energy to avoid than it takes them to implement. And admittedly, slowing our internet down, it's actually quite significant in damaging the economy. Now, let's be real. Our economy is extremely resilient, and a slowing down of the internet won't stop the deals that are in place. But over time, it will have a visible impact. Okay, so 99% of all economic transaction might be fine. But here's the thing: how many people use Verizon Internet for their card machines? You ever go to a cafe, you order a coffee, and they say the card machine is down, and you're like, all I have is my card. Boom. Store can't bring in money. Store won't pay taxes. Taxes won't go to government. Now multiply that across the country, in fact, in 2 different countries, and now we've got a conspiracy. I'm just kidding. I'm not saying I know that anything really happened, right? So as of right now, they say the outage appears to be affecting data, payments, calls, and texting for customers. No official statement has been given by the communications and technology company yet. But I will stress, Every time something like this happens, people immediately think we're under attack. With everything going on with China, the conspiracy hawks are going to be out circling like crazy. They say it appears the outage began around 10 a.m. Eastern, subsided, and then spiked back up again at 3 p.m. Eastern. Verizon has yet to make a statement regarding the issue. Down detector is showing much of the coastal areas experiencing this inconvenience. This includes LA, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, New York City, Atlanta, Georgia, and more. And many Verizon users have flocked to Twitter to share their frustrations, one demanding the firm gets its crap together. So people on Twitter complaining, it's like, dude. So Verizon has had to be down nationwide. Anything else down? I didn't even notice this. I mean, maybe it's because I don't use Verizon. The outage comes a few months after Verizon customers on the East Coast were hit by a massive outage, leaving thousands unable to send text messages. The problem has affected Verizon users from New York to the southern tip of Florida, along with parts of the South and the Great Lakes area. It appeared mostly to involve mobile phone and internet service, though, well, that's what Verizon is. What do you mean? Though some have reported issues with landline service as well. I guess if your cable TV is working, you're fine. Reports of service issues began shortly after 5 a.m. and quickly grew to the thousands. Well, yes, that's because people were waking up to their phones not working. Here's a quote. They say, "We have confirmed there is a texting outage in the East Coast." Yeah, okay. But let's see what happened in the UK and see if there's any similarities. In this story, they say, Three's mobile network should be back to normal by the end of day today. So this is today, right? The company has announced. Customers have been experiencing network problems since last night, with thousands left unable to make calls, send text messages, and get online. I also want to stress something. The reason why lethal crime is down in most developed nations, you're not going to believe it, cell phones. Yep. The reason lethal crime is down is because cell phones exist. When you tell people that, most of them say that makes no sense. What, owning a cell phone makes someone less likely to commit a violent crime? No. Violent crime is down for other reasons, but the issue is that when someone gets, say, shot or stabbed, the likelihood paramedics get there on time now is significantly higher, meaning that murder, now attempted murder, lethal crime is down. So a lot of people don't realize. They look at the stats and they're like, hey, look, murder is going down. And then you look at some countries and see murder going up, and you're like, but it's only going up by a little bit, right? When you factor in cell phones existing and it going up a little bit, that means the crime rate is probably actually way, way high, but people aren't dying as often, which is still kind of good news, but don't let these things confuse you. They say, people have been reporting issues getting onto the network overnight, according to the tech tracking website Down Detector. But this afternoon, 3 has issued an update recommending customers try turning their phone off and on again, or toggling airplane mode to try and fix it. They say, yeah, you get it. So here's the outage map, which I've already shown you. And of course, it's hitting London and Birmingham, and I think that might be Sheffield. I have no idea. I don't live in this country. All the British people are going to get mad at me now. They said, we are aware of network issues and are working hard to fix them. We know the impact this is having on your day, and we're sorry. Rest assured, we've got our best minds in the job. But what is the likelihood of cyber attack? And I'll say this. If it was a cyber attack, they're not going to tell you. They can't. If it came out that China or Russia or whoever implemented an attack on our mobile networks, well, then we'd have to retaliate. People would not tolerate this kind of action against us, especially when someone's like, on Tinder and they got a hot date and they're waiting to get that response. They're like, should I pick you up now or at 7? And then there's no message. They're like, what's happening? And then their phone stops working and they're like, no, tonight's the night, right? People get really, really angry. But let's be real, jokes aside, business deals are going to get disrupted. And I'd imagine if it was a cyber attack, you're going to have people demanding the government do something. Sanctions, perhaps? The other scary thing as to why I think they wouldn't tell you is that it could seriously be like one 16-year-old kid in his basement in New Zealand with a botnet clicking a button and shutting down infrastructure in 2 major economies. Now that's scary. And that's something they don't want you to realize. Back in the day with all the 7 years ago, there was a big hacker resurgence. And there were a bunch of groups and a bunch of crazy things. But the government was going after them hard. And I think I know why. At the time in 2012, the question was like, why are they going after hackers with 35 years in prison for some instances of minor, hackery? And I think the reason is hackers are extremely powerful. They have an immense amount of control. And they wanted to make sure everybody knew if you do anything like this, you will rot and we will come for you. Mark my words. It's one thing when you get somebody who someone can commit a crime and you demand they spend There are people who commit murder and get only a few years in prison. And they say, oh, well, we think they've changed with good behavior. But some of these hackers were getting 35 years. It's simple, man. In one court case that I had been to, the prosecution actually said, why should this person have power over us simply because they know how this works? There was something to that effect. And I think that's why they're so terrified of the hacker community. And I think it worked. I think throwing not just the book, but the library at them to make sure they rot in prison for the rest of their lives was a hard warning to anybody who would ever use the power of the internet and their knowledge of tech to cause problems. So, I'll wrap it up there. Look, I saw a story about a cell phone outage, and I didn't care. I saw 2 stories about a cell phone outage, and I still didn't really care. But I thought it'd be fun to talk about conspiracies, whatever. Probably nothing. You know what I would say? Who was this? Was this Bill Maher? That if the cell phone networks go down twice within a day, my response is it's because sometimes networks go down. That's about it. Unless you can prove otherwise, right? So I think it's fun to talk about the what ifs and the why and stuff like that. And I'm actually planning another YouTube channel with some other hosts about mysteries where we talk about the what ifs and the why and all that stuff. So that'll happen at some point. A lot of work going on behind the scenes. Thanks for hanging out. Next segment will be tomorrow at 10 a.m., podcast at 6:30 p.m., and I will see you all then.